Hey everybody, this is Marcus. It looks like Kang the Conqueror is going to be recast at Marvel Studios, or at least that's what's been reported according to the Cosmic Wonder Warren Thompson. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. But in case if anyone's in the new and aren't familiar with what's going on as far as like why Kang is being recast, I'll do a quick recap. So basically, this past week, Jonathan Majors was found guilty of striking his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend at that particular time, and he previously played Kang the Conqueror and Kang's other variants like Immortus, the Scarlet Centurion, Ramatut, and including Victor Timely in the second season of Loki. And so when he was found guilty, Marvel Studios made a quick decision to axe him out of Marvel Studios, and right now Marvel Studios is trying to come up with a plan of whether they're going to keep Avengers the Kang Dynasty or continue to focus on Kang as a whole, or they're going to try and at least keep the story going forward though. So that's the plan as of right now. And honestly, I'm gonna give my take on it as well. But honestly, I think Kang the Conqueror is a very important and interesting and really cool character given his history. He's been around for over 50, 60 years. That I think is a good idea that Marvel is actually keeping him as the main center focus or the big bad guy for the saga, which is of course phase 5 and phase 6 for the Multiverse Saga. But I'm gonna give you guys my take on it once we check out Cosmic Wonder's take on it as well, because he actually reported this as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Cosmic Wonder. He's awesome, he's incredible, and thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. It really means a lot. And also Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody as well though. So I'm excited for the holidays. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So let's see what Warren Thompson has to say about Kang, or as Marvel Studios is going to keep Kang as the big bad guy in the Multiverse Saga. So let's do it.
Well, we've had reports that Marvel Studios is getting rid of Kang after they fired Jonathan Majors, who of course plays Kang the Conqueror in the MCU. We got reports that they are getting rid of the character Kang altogether, and even Avengers Kang Dynasty is now simply titled Avengers 5 at Marvel Studios. And today we have a brand new report that states Marvel Studios actually plans to keep Kang the Conqueror in the MCU. However, he is not going to be a main focus anymore, at least not for a while. Now, these reports may seem conflicting, but they actually aren't. They can go hand in hand with each other, and I'll explain how. Now, when Jonathan Majors was fired by Marvel Studios because he was found guilty in court, pretty much everyone was talking about it. All of the major outlets like Variety, Deadline, The Hollywood Reporter, Forbes talked about it, The Rolling Stone talked about it, and everybody was talking about the future of Kang the Conqueror in the MCU and how it looks like Marvel is going to move away from the character. But The Hollywood Reporter specifically reported that Avengers Kang Dynasty was no longer titled Kang Dynasty, but simply titled Avengers 5, according to their sources. Insider Jeff Snyder said the same thing. He said, "I told you that the next Avengers movie wouldn't be called the Kang Dynasty. The name Kang only conjures thoughts of Jonathan Majors." And this part is most likely true. The next Avengers film, which was supposed to be Kang Dynasty, will not be titled Kang Dynasty, but that doesn't mean Kang is done in the MCU, because according to Alex Perez from thecosmiccircus.com, Kang is going to be coming back, and Marvel Studios still does have plans for Kang the Conqueror. Now, of course, unfortunately, I have to clarify this. Jonathan Majors will not be playing Kang the Conqueror in the MCU. They will recast Kang. Jonathan Majors has been fired from Marvel Studios. He's not going to come back and play Kang unless perhaps he does an appeal too, and he wins that appeal. However, that could take a very, very long time. But according to Alex Perez at the Cosmic Circus, we won't see Kang for a very long time. Even though he's not done, he's not going to pop up until the very end. So we do have time, and Majors could appeal in court and possibly win. I've seen a lot of lawyers go on the news recently talking about the case, stating that he should appeal and that he might actually have a pretty decent chance at winning the appeal. So who knows what could happen there, but we're not going to count on it. Besides, in the meantime, Marvel Studios is probably going to want to jump on who they want to replace him as Kang the Conqueror in the MCU. But let's break down this new report talking talking about Kang's future in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you're new and you want to stay up to date on the MCU, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're also doing a giveaway, giving away a PS5 and Xbox Series X and more. We'll talk about that at the end. So this new report, again, is coming from Alex Perez of the Cosmic Circus, and he released this report in a very, very long and detailed article about the future of the MCU. I highly suggest, after you watch this video, you go and you check it out. I'll link it down in the description in the pinned comment. And here's the thing, from what I've read, from everything that you all have commented on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, it seems that most people would prefer this option that is laid out here in this article. The section on Kang is subtitled, Kang Currently on Standby. It starts off by reading, "We could not conclude this article without addressing the elephant in the room, Kang the Conqueror. Following the guilty verdict of the trial of Jonathan Majors, Marvel Studios quickly dismissed Majors from his duties as Kang the Conqueror and his variants. We last saw Majors in the MCU with the release of Loki Season 2, in which he reprised his role as He Who Remains and portrayed the variant Victor Timely. By the show's end, Loki had taken control of the multiverse and created the multiversal tree, which allows infinite timelines to continuously expand and grow as a giant tree. Now, the bigger question, as the TVA moves on, is where does that leave Kang and his variants, many of which were all gathered at Limbo in a place outside of time and space? How does Marvel and
Yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they're actually going to do this, though. So how they're going to actually carry on as far as everything else is concerned, though. So let's see. Do this real quick.
For a very long time, even though he's break down this new about the future of the MCU, I highly suggest, after you watch this video, you go and you check it out. I'll link it down in the description in the pinned comment. And here's the thing, from what I've read, from everything that you all have commented on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, it seems that most people would prefer this option that is laid out here in this article. The section on Kang is subtitled, Kang Currently on Standby. It starts off by reading, "We could not conclude this article without addressing the elephant in the room, Kang the Conqueror. Following the guilty verdict of the trial of Jonathan Majors, Marvel Studios quickly dismissed Majors from his duties as Kang the Conqueror and his variants. We last saw Majors in the MCU with the release of Loki Season 2, in which he reprised his role as He Who Remains and portrayed the variant Victor Timely. By the show's end, Loki had taken control of the multiverse and created the multiversal tree, which allows infinite timelines to continuously expand and grow as a giant tree. Now, the bigger question, as the TVA moves on, is where does that leave Kang and his variants, many of which were all gathered at Limbo in a place outside of time and space? How does Marvel intend to address Kang's absence? Marvel's plan for him is the equivalent of sweeping it under the rug. Marvel will instead focus on other storylines while they take their time to build up Kang and the multiverse again slowly behind the scenes. Some sources have even gone beyond that to state that Marvel doesn't intend to address him directly until we are practically near the end of the Multiverse Saga. Sources state that there have been discussions and plans for other multiversal villains to step up to the plate in the upcoming phases. This is, of course, in an attempt to take control of the multiversal-sized vacuum left in the absence of Kang the Conqueror and his variants. But make no mistake, for better or worse, Marvel ultimately still intends to close out the Multiverse Saga with a Kang variant as their final villain. So according to Alex Perez, Marvel Studios still plans to have at least one Kang the Conqueror stick around in the MCU. We won't see him for a while, but he'll pop up at the end, and they will still slowly build him up. Now, the reason fans might like this option a lot is because Marvel Studios has already built him up. We've already seen him 3 times in the MCU, 4 if you count the post-credit for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. They've already established that there is a group of Kang variants out there, the Kang Trio, the Council of Kangs, who have gathered a mass army. We saw thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of Kang variants following 3 very specific variants, Ramatut, Immortus, and the Scarlet Centurion. And when news first broke out that it that looked like they were going to replace Kang altogether with a different villain, a lot of fans were pretty disappointed because they've already set them up in a pretty big way and they want to see how that plays out. Well, the good news is it looks like we will. However, not in the same fashion as we would have before. Whereas before, if this never happened to Jonathan Majors and he never went to court and was found guilty and he still was Kang the Conqueror, we would have seen him pop up in a lot more places. And of course, we would still have Avengers Kang Dynasty. Now, it doesn't look like we are getting a Avengers Kang Dynasty film, and it doesn't really look like Kang is going to pop up much for the rest of the Multiverse Saga until the very end. Now, it seems like this still kind of lines up with what Marvel Studios' original plans were for a final villain of Kang, and that was to be a Beyonder Kang variant, which would make sense and would kind of explain how you could kind of just dismiss the other groups of Kang that are out there in limbo outside of space and time, because the Beyonder can also exist outside of space and time. But they could add a cool little twist to the Beyonder variant of Kang. You see, Kang the Conqueror, his real name is Nathaniel Richards. He's just a human. I've said this before, but he doesn't have any actual powers. All of his powers come from technology. We saw this in Quantumania. Kang was stranded in the quantum realm. He had no powers. He was helpless until he got his suit back. And only then was he powerful and could now build the giant city which we saw in the quantum realm. But if you add a Kang Beyonder variant, then perhaps this Beyonder variant could have powers of his own, much like the actual Beyonder from Marvel Comics. And this would pretty much make all other variants of Kang obsolete, because this would be the ultimate Kang variant, one with powers and technology. So this could still work, and in the meantime, they could bring in other awesome villains. I mean, this was pretty much how the Infinity Saga was. The first Avengers film wasn't entirely about Thanos. It was really about Loki. Yes, Thanos' army was behind it, and Loki was working for Thanos, but the main villain of that film was Loki. The same thing goes for Avengers Age of Ultron. Thanos wasn't behind Ultron. Ultron was his own separate villain. He was the main villain of that film. Then eventually they had Thanos in Infinity War and Endgame. Yes, he was kind of in the background here and there, but he wasn't exactly a huge prominent person. He was never the main villain of a movie like Kang was in Quantumania before Infinity War. So they could still make this work. They could still make it work to where the big bad raid boss Kang the Conqueror villain doesn't come in until Avengers Secret Wars, and he's the villain that everybody has to take down. I also like this because this means that Doom can be saved as a main villain for a different saga, which is what I really want. Doom is a character that you really have to spend a lot of time with to truly understand and appreciate, and I think he deserves an entire saga to himself. But let us know what you think about these plans in the comments down below about Marvel Studios' plans to essentially sweep Kang under the rug, let everything that happened with Jonathan Majors die down. Don't say Kang for a while, because again, that will kind of bring up Jonathan Majors, but then in the end, bring him back because they already set him up for the story, for Kang to be the big bad multiversal villain. So let us know your thoughts, and let us know who you think should replace him as the actor for Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, so this is actually a really great idea as far as like just to continue the story of Kang, because they're already so deep into it anyway. And as far as like the middle of the Multiverse Saga, there's just no way you can pretty much like take away Kang as a matter of fact and just take him to the side or put him to the side. You can pretty much save Kang for later and bring in more villains to come in to pretty much like continue the story of the Multiverse Saga. For example, like they did with the Infinity Saga. And Warren actually pointed that out in the fact that they brought in Ultron, who was pretty much involved when Thanos was doing his own thing as well, though, because Ultron is a part of the Infinity Saga as well. So it definitely make a lot more sense when you can pretty much like bring in more villains that you can add into in the Multiverse Saga and focus on them, and then you can bring in Kang later if they decide to recast him. I know there's like a lot of list of men that could actually play Kang as well, though, and so like a lot of them. I know John Boyega was definitely on the top list, but he actually refused to play him, which is pretty hilarious, though. And then you also have Idris Hodge, who voiced Jon Stewart in the Green Lantern Be My Power movie as well. And then you can pretty much like bring in other actors as well. There was even talks about Denzel Washington. And funny that Denzel actually said in the interview that Marvel and DC has never approached him to be in a superhero movie. But he said, never say never. And I actually quote that from what he actually said, though. So, but we'll see how it goes, because like you can definitely do so many ideas with how you want to go with Kang, because with the variants that Kang actually has, you can pretty much like cast anybody to play. And even though it's unfortunate that Jonathan Majors can't play Kang as of right now, if ever, because of the situation that happened, then you can pretty much bring in other actors to play him as well, though, because honestly, Jonathan Majors did a really great job with playing Kang the Conqueror, though. And so that's the thing. Kang is such a really important character to the point to where you have to at least continue the story. Because honestly, speaking from my opinion, I'm enjoying the Multiverse Saga, and I definitely enjoy Loki Season 2 as well, though. So there's like so many ideas that you can play as well. But see, in the original Secret Wars saga in 1984, Kang actually was a part of Team Doctor Doom. And so you can't have Secret Wars, as I mentioned this many times, you can't have Secret Wars without Doctor Doom or the Beyonder. Those are the two most pivotal characters in the Marvel lore. So the thing you have to do is at least put Kang on the side and then focus on Doctor Doom and pretty much try to build up the story of Doctor Doom, bring him slowly, take your time. As I said, that's what you gotta do to pretty much bring in an important character like Doctor Doom. And so, like I said, either or can work. I think they should actually continue the Kang Dynasty and just pretty much build in those characters, because even though the other Kangs are in limbo, you can still keep Immortus, Ramatut, and the Scarlet Centurion among the other Kang variants as well, though. So like I said, those characters play a pivotal role in the Marvel Universe anyway, though, because they're all controlled time. And so that's the most important thing about that as well, though. So like I said, they can definitely continue this, and like I said, I definitely look forward to it as well, though. But again, bring in Doctor Doom, at least bring in other characters as well, and just take it from there. But at least Marvel Studios is having their time right now, because like I mentioned before, you have other movies that are coming out next year, especially for 2024. The Sony movies like Madam Web, you also have Kraven the Hunter, and then you also have Venom 3 that's coming out as well, not to mention the TV series on Disney Plus like Echo, and you have Spider-Man Freshman Year, and then you also have X-Men 97. Those are the most important TV/films that are the most important for the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the TV shows. But like I said, as far as taking your time, at least bring in Doctor Doom slowly but surely. Have him be the incredible force, because like I said, without Secret Wars, you can't have Secret Wars without Doctor Doom, Beyonder. That's it. So like I said, just take your time, and we have a lot to go as far as like what to do, as far as like what they're going to do with the rest of the stories. But those are my ideas. I think that right now it should just build on Doctor Doom, put Kang to the side. If they want to bring back Kang later, they can, because they can definitely do that for sure. They definitely don't need to stop doing the Kang Dynasty, but they can pretty much continue it from there, since how deep the story has gotten so far, though. So just keep those stories intact and just focus on the other projects that are coming out. And like I said, Deadpool 3, that's the most that I'm looking forward to seeing as well, though. So that's going to be important as well. So I'm excited for them all, though. But it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this. And like I said, with so much going on as far as like what the MCU is going to do with Kevin Feige, their ideas are practically already scratched enough as it is, though. So we'll definitely see how it goes with you guys. So, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know what y'all think about whether Avengers 5, if Marvel Studios want to keep the Kang Dynasty, or Avengers 5. Let me know what you guys think. I definitely will appreciate it. And also thank you, Warren Thompson, the Cosmic Wonder, for everything. Thank you for the video. And I'll put the link in the bottom description for you guys to check out. So shout out to Warren Thompson and even Marvel Studios as well. Hopefully you guys will continue with these great, awesome stories that I grew up with as a kid. So as a lifelong Marvel fan, that's definitely what I want to see. I just want to have great storytelling. Just stick to the actual stories, and you'll never sway the fans, and you'll always have a fan base that you can obviously trust. And I know I'll definitely cater to the fans if I work for Marvel Studios as well, though. I know someone commented below before that I should work for Marvel Studios, and I definitely put my hat out to that as well, though. So, and I can help them out with the projects and everything else like that, though. So, but other than that, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a Merry Christmas. Be safe. Spend time with your families. Say it to someone that you love them. I love y'all. Have a Merry Christmas. I'll definitely see you guys again, especially for the new year. So much plans that I have coming up. So I'll talk about them going forward. But I'm looking forward to the new year. So thank y'all so much for everything. You guys mean a lot to me. And for those who are new, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It definitely means a lot to me. And you guys mean so much to me. So until then, I love y'all. Be good to each other. Merry Christmas. Peace and love. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.